Welcome back, everyone. I am in a Tier 7 game in the Tier 5 American light cruiser, the Omaha. People talk a lot about this ship's Tier 6 equivalent, the Cleveland. And the Cleveland is indeed an amazing, astonishing ship. Because the Cleveland has an awesome AAA, probably the best at Tier 6. Actually, probably the best of Tier 6 and probably 7 as well. And maybe even Tier 8. I want to do a little research before I make that wild claim, though. And it has those 12 6-inch rapid-firing guns that will just disintegrate ship after ship it faces off against. I don't hear as many people singing the praises, though, of its little Tier 5 cousin. Probably because they get to the Tier 6 Cleveland and they forget all about this little thing. But this is a nasty, nasty little vessel. Studded with 6-inch guns, mounted in both turrets and in casemates along the sides. It's capable of bringing a reasonable amount of firepower to bear in pretty much any direction with its also rapid-firing 6-inch guns. It also carries up to 4 triple racks of torpedoes, 2 on the port side, 2 on the starboard side. And on a map like this one, that's actually a big deal. Now, if you take a look on the mini-map right now, you'll see what I was seeing when I was playing this match. There's 2 battleships, and they're not going towards either flank. They're clearly aimed directly towards the center passage of this map. And I mean, we've seen this so many other videos. People taking cruisers and battleships down this big center passage. I wouldn't even take my destroyer down that center passage. It's so restricted. There's so little room to maneuver. You're just setting yourself up to be devoured by anyone with half a brain in a torpedo-armed ship the moment you clear one or the other of this passage. This match also has a remarkable lack of destroyers. I think each team has, let's see, their team has 2, and my team also has 2. So it's a very, very destroyer-light match. So torpedo-armed cruisers like my Omaha have to pick up some of the slack. First, though, a little aircraft pasting. There's some torpedo and dive bombers coming in to try and harass some nearby battleships. I'm going to pick up a couple air kills here just to help protect them. It's not perfect, of course. I mean, they got a lot of planes they can afford to lose in the Japanese carrier on the other side. And he's going to get some damage in. But I'm just going to be patient. I want all the enemy ships going down that passage, and I want to hand them all of my torpedoes because it's going to be delicious. And we actually saw 3 ships going in there. And as it turns out, it's a Tier 7 Atlanta that is going to be coming through first. Let's be honest, the Atlanta's pretty cool. It's got its own rack of torpedoes. It's got 8 dual 5-inch rapid-fire gun mounts. It has a stupefying amount of light firepower, capable of ripping apart destroyers, giving cruisers a hard time, and even making annoying battleships just because of the sheer number of HE hits you score. And then behind it is a division made up of a New Mexico and a New York, 2 excellent American battleships. So you can see them all in the coming into or going down the passage now, and you can see I'm just chilling. Yeah, I know, it's kind of boring, waiting for these guys to get close enough. Now, chilling back here with me, there's another Omaha. You can see him just up there ahead of me as I check to see. Maybe I can sneak a shot in here. Not really. There's also another cruiser and a pair of battleships who are just chilling, waiting for the exact same thing I am. They're really gonna want to sink all these guys. So yeah, now I'm checking out torpedo ranges. I'm thinking about timing involved. I really want to try and sink this Atlanta, but of course this other Omaha is in the way. You can see the Atlanta's making the final turn there by how about how that's making its radical swing. And that Atlanta's in all kinds of trouble. The other Omaha's going to try and torpedo at close range. This battleship's shooting at him. He kills the other Omaha with his own torpedoes. But, yeah, look at that. 7 shell hits with 1 broadside. There's an aircraft launching torpedoes. I'm trying to guess where he's going to run aground. But I probably spent that time just shooting at him, not wasting torpedoes, because my torpedoes are now being aimed at a dead ship. That's okay. One Atlanta down. Friendly Omaha went with him. Trade of Tier 5, Tier 7 cruiser. Seems fair. Seems fair, at least for my team. Not so good for theirs. One of the destroyers has been sunk on the other flank, so they're down to just 1 destroyer. And I'm sitting here thinking, alright, well, those battleships come out. Do I really want to be this far away? It's going to be far enough away for the torpedoes to arm, but I don't want to be so far away they stand a chance of dodging. So I just said to myself, you know what? Port side torpedoes partly expended. Let's get the starboard side aimed in, and we'll get closer. I want to be close enough to minimize the amount of time they have to aim and fire, because a single broadside from those battleships could theoretically turn my Omaha into a sinking hulk. Just as a single salvo of torpedoes. The problem is that shells are a lot faster than torpedoes. So I come sprinting up here to put my torpedoes into the closest range I think I can get away with and still get off a salvo of torpedoes. There we go. Here looks pretty good. Just bring the ship down to a nice halt. I'm just hoping someone will keep spotting them so I can fire the torpedoes at the ideal possible moment. I'm actually doing it right now, so I'm trying to gauge when it is time to fire, but of course that's when they keep appearing and vanishing, and it's really messing up my timing. And yeah, I'm at a full stop right now. Now I'm trying to lock the closer battleship. The first one around the corner is going to be the New Mexico. The New York is right behind him, though. So I'm not going to have much time to switch. Oh, and then they vanish. Like, uh-oh. I don't know exactly when to shoot to minimize my exposure time. Aim a little further out, so I'll have hopefully a little more lead time. And the lead battleship flickers back in, and all the torpedoes go streaking away. And then they slam the engine to forward, because now I got to turn around and get my port side engaged, because I got to do so before the battleship comes around. Hello, friend. Have some torpedoes. Have some shell fire. New Mexico has reduced basically no health on my torpedo hits. Put some shells in to help do more damage. Take some secondary fire from him, but with all the battleship and cruiser shells coming in, he doesn't last long. Amazingly, just to demonstrate how powerful he is, he sinks the other cruiser that was there with his broadside. He got the guns to bear. Launch all my other torpedoes. Now at the New York, he's just come out. He's also shooting at someone else, not paying attention to my Omaha. His secondaries, though, are taking their toll as I continue firing at him, but pinned against that island like that. He's got basically no chance whatsoever. Get a little fire damage in, and then all the torpedoes come racing in, and down he goes. And that's when, just as I'm turning around, ow! Ooh, ow, okay, that hurt. That's the last enemy destroyer, and it's not just any destroyer. I don't even realize what I'm attacking at this time, but that is the new Polish destroyer, the Bilseka, you know, let's just call it the Mighty Pole. That right there is a heck of a destroyer. I don't even know what I'm charging right now. I'm just turning. I'm like, ooh, it's a destroyer. I'm a cruiser. Go, go! I'm gonna get him. I'm gonna get him. Come here, cruiser. I'm a cruiser. You're a destroyer. Ooh, he vanishes. But I can see I'm being detected thanks to my little. It's not the Sixth Sense perk, but we'll just call it the Sixth Sense perk. So I know he's still out there, and I'm like, I don't even know what this. I'm like, I'm chasing a destroyer. He's probably got torpedoes. Assume there could be torpedoes coming. Oop! He fires. Spot him. Throw some shells in his direction. Continuously maneuvering to throw off any potential aim he's got on both his guns and his torpedoes. I just don't want to accidentally run into a salvo of torpedoes. But you can see how much those guns hurt. They took a big chunk off my hit points just to start. And now I'm looking at the map going, wow, I'm a lone cruiser, and I think I'm chasing a lone destroyer. I think most of their ships are off on the other flank. So I say, all right, well, this is what cruisers are for, hunting down and sinking destroyers. And so when I see him spotted again, I immediately start zigzagging to try and throw off once again any torpedo or gun salvos heading his way. And there he is, firing another salvo at me. And he scores a hit and sets me on fire, you little punk. You might notice I'm not concentrating my shells in broadside. Instead, I start just spraying my shells everywhere, just trying to score hits. These destroyers, particularly if they got a sneaky captain, will often zigzag it, just like I'm doing, to try and make it harder to hit them. So rather than worry about getting whole broadsides in, I just go for put a shell in here, put a shell in there, and just try and make it as hard as possible to avoid the whole salvo. Set him on fire, that's always good. I already did one critical hit, so hopefully now he'll start burning to death. Little bugger has proven to be a pain. Look at him, he's literally sitting right at the edge of his view radius, his view range from me. And so I'm frantically punching out shots to try and keep him spotted. Luckily now there's not only a spotter aircraft, but also a friendly dive bomber comes in, spots the torpedoes he launched, so I'm able to stay well clear of those while keeping the shells going in. Oop, I think I knocked out his engine right there. That's good. That means now I can close the distance, hopefully. Oh, he hits my torpedo racks, but while chasing a destroyer, I'm not too worried about that. Oh, just didn't know I was chasing Bill Swick. You can see he's taking a toll whenever he gets a broadside in. It hurts. I don't even know what sort of guns this thing has. As I'm chasing, I'm like, wow, I'm getting beaten up. And that's when suddenly the chat comes up with somebody yelling at this Bill Sikwa. Bill Sikwa? You know, the pole. They're making fun of him for having a premium ship, one that you have to buy. And he's finally, I've noticed yet, I've killed his engines and I forgot, no, he's not moving, so I'm actually shooting way too far ahead of him. Like, oh wait, maybe I should like lead properly. And they're just not being very nice. You know what it is? It's that battleship division, the one that I ravaged with torpedoes, making fun of this guy because he has a premium ship. And they're like, oh, you're overpowered premium. It's not an overpowered premium ship. It's a really good premium ship. I looked at stats after. I was very impressed with the build. So it got good guns, nice torpedoes. Pretty much all stats are pretty good. Fortunately, I turned on my hydro detector right there, so I was able to see this torpedo salvo from way further out than usual. Pulled a nice easy dodge. Now I'm just feeling a little bad for this guy because he's being ripped on by a part of his team who should have known better. Because, I mean, really, a pair of battleships sailed down the center of the strait, the little narrow strait, and expected something other than being hit by a giant face full of torpedoes. No, you're just idiots. He might actually be a decent player because he tried to do what a destroyer does. He tried to be sneaky. He just had the bad luck of running into me, and he hurt me a lot. We actually traded hit points. He actually came off better in the hit point exchange. He took more hit points away from me than I took away from him, even though I sank him. Oof, alright, ow. I can't really afford to fight another Omaha right now. So I put a broadside in, made him set him on fire, make him use his repair kit, and then I hide behind this island and wait for my team to come to my rescue. Because I don't really want to fight another cruiser. You might notice I've loaded armor piercing to try and maximize my chances of getting really heavy damage on this guy. Because Omahas, one thing they definitely don't have is a lot of armor. First thing, like, I'm going to go out and get him. Then I'm like, am I an idiot? If I go out there, he's going to sink me. So I decided to leave sinking him to the destroyer. Fortunately, a few seconds later, the Omaha, because he turned his attention on me just long enough, ends up eating a full set of torpedoes from one of our destroyers and goes to the bottom. So now I'm able to put the accelerator back down and come charging towards the enemy cap circle. Somewhere out there, there's an enemy carrier. He's still launching planes in a desperate effort to score some more points before the end of the match. And you know what? 4,000 health, I am more than okay. Just moving to the cap circle, chilling, and just trying to score some points before the end of the match. I feel like I've more than done my part with a couple planes shot down, a couple of ships sunk, a couple devastating strikes, I think it is, and there's just one devastating strike. But also a nice bunch of, what was it, 7 torpedo hits? I'm good with 7 torpedo hits. I don't normally do this sort of ridiculous torpedo damage in my Omaha. It's sort of the exception, not the rule. So I'm going to sit here and do my best to defend the Bill Sikwa in chat, who is more than agreed with me that those battleships sort of help throw the game by handing all their hit points to my Omaha at the very, by sailing to that center channel, start of the match. Well, I say the start, when in reality that was probably closer to the middle, because that's how long it takes for you to sail through there. Well, there's not really much else to say. The carrier's going to chill up there, and he's going to be hunted down and sunk by the destroyer, which takes a little time. It's he's doing his best to defend himself with his planes, and I'm just sitting here picking up capture points for the rest of the match. So let's just cut to the chase and move on to the post-game stats. So here's the post-game stats for that particular match. Just a little nice. I mean, over 250 million credits. Not as exceptional as it would be in World of Tanks. Still pretty good stuff. 5,000 experience, milli on a ship that doesn't really need anymore because I've already got my Cleveland. 287 free XP, good stuff. 71 shell hits, 7 torpedo hits, shot down 3 planes, bunch of incapacitations, a couple of ships sunk, a whole bunch of fires, 5 floods, and captured the base to end the game for that one. Kind of feel like I'm okay with that one. Let's see how the team did. Oh, that's actually pretty good stuff. I mean, it's over 1900 basics P up there for my little tier 5, and what you can see was a pretty heavily tier 6-7 match. So that's always really nice. My supporting battleships did pretty nice, though I imagine they were a little upset watching all the hit points they wanted to take away from those battleships get sucked away by all my torpedoes. Of course, maybe they weren't so upset because that meant that there was that many fewer heavy ships to challenge them when they went sweeping around through the rest of the map. Independence looks like he had a pretty good match. Rio actually looks like he had a pretty solid match. And actually, even one of those battleships, he managed to come in third because of his successful salvo that took out one of the friendly cruisers. Still, I mean, it looks okay, but the whole thing was just kind of unpleasant for him. Let's take a look at my personal stats. I think this page sort of helps tell you how it all worked out. Didn't bother shooting any armor piercing. Never really got a chance to shoot another cruiser. It was all HE shells, which did 2,300 damage. Set some fires for about 8,000. Did some flooding for 4,000, but mostly it was that 46,000 torpedo damage I did to the New Mexico and the New York, which is always really nice stuff. The guy doing most of the razzing was actually that New York you can see up there. Check out his name, Rude One. Yeah, your name's entirely appropriate, buddy, but I kind of hope that you find your way out of World of Warships. JM the big man in his Bilsikwa, sure. 24 hits, 4 crits, did eventually sink him. Want to give him a shout out. He played that well, as best you can when you're in a destroyer that's being charged by an angry cruiser. Who has decided that he really wants nothing more than to try and sink you. A couple other nice ones in there, but that was probably the big stuff. Finally, just a quick one down here, and the economic screen. Yeah, that's 275,000 credits before any awards. I didn't actually quite finish any missions, so I got to walk away with a really hefty amount of credits for this match, which always makes me happy because, frankly, warships are expensive. As are all their modifications. Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed watching that match. Good game, and good night.